Okay, sorry about that interruption again. So we were tracing the blood back through. We had just gone through pulmonary circulation. We had come through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium. We went through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle, and now we're going through the aortic valve that's going out to the aorta. So once we're in the aorta, blood is both passed up and down through the aorta. It runs straight up and down through your thoracic. That's going to go out into your branch out into different arteries, like we said before, the femoral, brachial. So we're going out into those arteries. It's a little bit smaller vessels, but good size. And then it's going to go down into even smaller arteries called the arterioles. And these small vessels link up with capillary beds, and the capillary beds are all fed through, and this is where actually exchange takes place out in the cells. Not only in your pulmonary capillaries, but in these capillaries out in your cellular tissue. That's where you get the exchange of CO2, O2, and nutrients. And so after this exchange takes place, they're getting picked back up into the venules. Your arterioles are your very small arteries, and your venules are your very small veins. So they're kind of linked together there. It helps make it easier to remember. So you have these venules, and they're like the tree roots, is what I like to think of. And you have the very small ones being venules or arterioles, and then you get a little bit bigger in the arteries or the veins. In this case, we're going back up through the venous system, which you have your little roots as the venules, and then your bigger roots as the veins, and then the big trunk of the whole tree will be the vena cava. And that vena cava leads back into where? Right back to the heart, and the starting place that we use, and that is the right atrium. So I want to do like to give some students some time with this model to help trace them for those who learn good that way. Maybe getting hands-on, they'd like to see it a little bit better. We've got this diagram that helps map it out in a little different view. So here we have the deoxygenated blood coming into the vena cava into the right atrium. The right atrium, and then flows to the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. And there, you follow the arrows, makes it real simple here. Goes up through the pulmonic valve into the pulmonary arteries, still deoxygenated, remind you. Those pulmonary arteries are fed through the pulmonary circulation, reoxygenated in those capillaries, come back through the, you see you got two pulmonary veins here and two veins here, and they actually lead in over here to the left atrium. This blood is now oxygenated, so it's being pumped down through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle. That ventricle is going to contract and pump that back towards the body through the aortic valve and the aorta, which is the aortic arch, which goes to the aorta and then branches out, and that's goes back through where we finished out here. It doesn't show it, but remember our aorta leads to our arteries, which leads to our arterioles. Exchange takes place in the capillary beds out in the cellular tissues, and then your venules pick up the blood, which carry to the veins, and then we end up back to the vena cava. So, questions? We have covered, the function of the cardiovascular system, what it's for, what it does. We covered the anatomy of the parts. We covered how it does what it does, how it pumps, how it knows how fast to go in the normal healthy heart, and we covered the blood flow really well and the importance of the blood, its components, and what it carries. Have any other questions? Let me know. After the lecture, I'd like to have some students get some times with hands-on and maybe tracing or drawing the blood flow themselves to get a little bit more familiar with it. But thank you. Again, I apologize for the interruptions, and if you need anything else, let me know. Thank you.